Congressman from Minnesota, who's also a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Paulsen joining us, along with Democratic Congressman from California and member of the House Armed Services Committee, John Garamendi. Welcome, Congressman. Thank you very much for being here. Congressman Paulsen, right away I have to ask you, there are already a lot of sticking points that are emerging, everything from whether the elimination of the state and local tax deduction will go through, the fact that even some people in your own party do not like that it adds to the deficit. It is not revenue neutral. How do you scale all of these hurdles?
Look, I mean, we know this is significant tax cuts for small business, for individuals, geared towards the middle class. I will just tell you that the attitude within the conference is very positive, and I'm optimistic we will get this done. We will be able to shoehorn this in, as you mentioned. Now, we do have to wait for the Senate to complete their budget, but we expect that to happen before the end of the month, and the Ways and Means Committee will start filling in all the details on the unified framework. So we're way ahead of where we were on health care, months ahead, and we should be able to finish this up for the benefit of the economy before year end.
But isn't there a deadline, October 19th, if the Senate wants to then hand it back to you, and then they then have to return and get their only 51 votes, so they don't need any help from congressmen like John Garamendi, who is a Democrat?
Well, this is going to be conferenced in a very quick fashion, but we're working with Democrats in the House, kind of your John F. Kennedy-style Democrats that have been part of the hearing process on Ways and Means. No one is defending the status quo, so whether it's the rate reductions or keeping more of your first dollars earned by doubling the standard deduction, we're going really bold and transformational to help the economy, and we should be able to get that done before year end.
Congressman Garamendi, are you one of those so-called John F. Kennedy Democrats who wants tax cuts and tax reform?
Well, absolutely. Certainly a John F. Kennedy Democrat. However, that was just a lot of happy talk. The reality is that we only have about 7, maybe 8 weeks of work days out ahead of us.
43,
and this is
you guys
extraordinary.
have fewer, right?
No.
Well, exactly. The problem here is that this is not just for the middle class and the working men and women. This is a monumental increase in the deficit. We're talking over $2.3 or $5 trillion increase in the deficit. There's no way that the economy is going to grow to cover that. So if you're a deficit hawk, this is not for you.
One of the proposals, which would hurt everybody standing in my studio right now and at Fox, because we are a high tax state, just like your state, and just like New York, New Jersey, that this elimination of the tax deduction, of the federal and state tax deduction, is very unpopular, but over 10 years it could very well raise $1 trillion to then at least try to balance out the deficit. I mean, you got to go with something. Are you against that?
Well, certainly we're against it in California, and there's a whole lot of Republican congressmen in California that are going to pay a huge price if they vote for such a thing, because it is a heavy, heavy hit. It's not just the income tax, it is the real estate tax also, and also the sales tax. It is a huge hit for California. About 55% of the total population of the United States is going to get whacked.
Let me just get this in. Congressman Paulsen, we got 20 seconds. What about that?
Well, I will just say this, is that by flattening the code with flatter rates, we're losing a lot of deductions, but the benefit is these folks are going to be paying lower taxes anyway. So every American is going to have lower rates, lower taxes. That's part of the tax cuts. And with growing the economy, it solves a lot of other problems with our deficit and our debt, and we're moving towards a balanced budget.
Well, we hope so.
In your dreams, it isn't going to work that way. If you're super wealthy, you're going to do very well. The rest of us are going to get whacked.
Well, we're all nervous here, just so you know, Congressman Paulsen, but we do have to see compromise, Mr. Garamendi. So let's see if you guys can come together.